Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's Eisen Edgy here. Like, comment, subscribe before we continue. Thanks again. Appreciate any and all of you guys showing me. Without further ado, let's get into it. So this is going to be a deck profile / post analysis of the Seattle Regional I just went to. And honestly, the deck was not a problem at all. The deck performed actually very well. The issue was the matchups, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So let's just get into the profile real quick, and then I'll explain some of the matchups along the way. So let's do I suppose let's just do the non-engine first, right? So the non-engine we were playing was 1 Prosperity and 1 for 1. 1 for 1. Get it? Yeah, this, perfectly fine. 1 for 1 performed fine, when I saw it, but it was just unfortunate when I did see this. Sometimes it was too late. And Prosp was fine as well, digging for stuff I needed, like Lancia. The Prosp actually did win me the game once, so I highly recommend keeping Prosp, especially for shifter decks. And then we were playing 3 Mulcharmy Fulos. The Mulcharmy Fulos, I think I got to use it twice yesterday, and it was just it was okay. When it resolved, it was great, but every time I used it, my opponent literally had an Ash or a Call by every time I used Fulos yesterday. So, I wasn't able to really utilize Fulos the way it was designed to. But, that's another reason why you guys should be playing these as well if you are playing this deck list, right? It's good to be playing both. Here, let me just put this over here. The Pirellia and the Fulos together is a great combo in this deck, especially since you want to be drawing as many cards as possible. This actually, I think Fulos still resolved more than this, but I didn't see Pirellia once. Not once the 6 rounds that I was playing, which was kind of crazy. So, yeah, it's whatever. It's kind of variance thing, right? But I think overall, you should just keep these in the deck as you're continuing to play. And then we did play 2 Impulse. We felt third one wasn't really necessary, especially since it's kind of matchup dependent, right? And even in Ryzel, you don't want to see this double because then it feels really bad. So I felt 2, especially Impulse paired with something kind of like Nib almost, was just good value. And then obviously for the anti-Charmy coverage, we have to play, the 3 Ashes. This is kind of borrowing a list from Birmingham, but yeah, you definitely want to be playing the 3 Ashes, and then the 3 Imperms are nice because it pairs well with the Impulse, right? So in total, I believe that was about 15, right? So we go 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. So about 14 to 16 non-engine, kind of, is what we were playing. So relatively fair. Honestly, I wouldn't change anything about the main deck non-engine. It's perfect. Now, I will say on top of that, 2 cards that we chose to play but wasn't feeling great about them were these 2. There was an instance where Trianic did come in handy, but I think if I played better, I didn't need it. And then the Abyss Megalo was fine, but I don't know, it just felt weird to have in hand because most of the time I wasn't using Megalo's effect to discard. I was using just another one other card to discard. So I don't know, Megalo felt really weird. But in the future, probably cutting these 2 to cut the list from 44 down to 42. We did play our 3 Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince, always performing well, as you guys I'm sure know. And then we did have our 3 Abyss Shrines. Finally picked up our place at the QCRs. So really pretty card. Really happy with that. I don't think you should be playing those at 2, in my opinion. And then we're still looking for our 3rd one of the... we picked this up at the Seattle Regionals there. 3 Shadow Squad. One of the best cards in the deck. And then our 3 Abyss Teus. I know initially some people thought this was going to go to 2, but honestly, I think just keeping the number of water counts is correct. And had no issues at the regionals with this ratio. So every time I saw 2 waters, it felt great. And then obviously the 3 Dragoons. You know, standard. Don't even talk about Dragoons much. You should be playing 3 when you can. And then we also picked up our QCR Poseidra. Yes, the QCR Poseidra does look very pretty. I was told it looks even prettier in Euro, but eventually we'll get the other one. I decided to play 2 in the main because obviously this deck kind of struggles going second, but at the same time, this also helps in like any other water. Going second, if you have one other water in hand, it's full combo. If you go first and you have like Dragoons or the Shadow Squad in hand, it's good still, right? So I felt 2 was fine. I don't think I'm going to change this back to 1. In the main, like maybe if I brick on it at some point, I might change my mind, but I haven't yet, so keyword yet. And then the 1 Minstrel, I was playing 2, cut it down to 1, worked beautifully. The 1 Infantry, 1 Torrent, our 1 Coelacanth, and then our 3 Coelacanth targets. This has been like kind of a debate recently, right? Because this package, this shouldn't change really, right? But the Torrent package, depending if you want to play the Moan Glacia or not, I was not playing Moan Glacia, and I didn't miss it. The only instance where I probably was like, oh, maybe Moan Glacia saves me here was under Fulos, which I did get Fulos a couple times. I will say that. So, like, if you want to play a little more low to the ground, like my previous list, and not play Coelacanth, you could actually cut this. You could cut these 4 cards, right? And just play the 1 Pike along with the Moan Glacia, right? So you're saving essentially Moan Glacia. You're saving 3 cards to cut it down to, if you're playing this exact list, you would be cutting down to like 41, which would be way more consistent, right? But you're losing the ability to play through essentially Droll, right? So you get Droll, you get killed. However, if Droll's not big in the format, if you don't think it's going to be that big, I highly recommend going this route, right? Because if they Fulos you always have the Moan Glacia play. So my thoughts though was that I don't think I just think Coelacanth for this at this regional was too good. Every time I got to Coelacanth, I won, and that's just that was just that, right? So like when I got there, I was already not already winning, but I was winning the game because you're just advancing your own board so much. But like, you know, if they're not playing Droll, you don't have to play the package, right? Like this package is just spicy. I think it's like an auto win when you play this package, going first. But you know, you don't have to. It's up to you. It's honestly, a lot of this deck is personal preference. So like, you're free to really mess with a lot of the cards if you don't like, you know, 2 of these, and because it's hard once, right? So. Yeah, the deck count was at 44 for this regional. So no complaints, honestly, about the deck itself. It only bricked once, and that was ironically because I was drawing cards like these, right? Like non-starters. So a re-deck analysis would have me cut it down to like 41 or 42 and just cut the bricks, right? Essentially. The extra deck, we are sticking with the Keeper, the Lacia, the Coral, and our King. Yeah, pretty standard. Not changing too much about that. And then again, pretty standard because you have to play the Donna when you're playing the water package. The 1 Trish, didn't make it the whole time. The 1 Poseidra, made this a bunch, helped me win games. Made this a bunch, helped me win games. Made that once. Shout out to Travis if you're watching. I played a buddy, Travis, at the regionals, and I basically, my board ended on these 2 plus Toad and King, right? So it was really hard for like Detonator beat over that board, especially since I took his imperm. But yeah, so we are playing the, you know, set of Bahamut Sharks and the Toads, so pretty solid. No complaints about all that. and then the Dweller and the Kraken. I didn't make Dweller all day. It was really honestly just a Metal Tronus target. If I saw Tronus and Droplet, in theory it was fine. It just never came up because game 3s I was either like, it was game 3 for like losing the dice roll, right? But I had won the dice roll most of the time, so it just never came up. And Kraken's there for honestly most of the time just Frost target. I didn't play a Fiendsmith build where I could make a rank 4 easily, so the chance just never came up. So yeah, that's the extra deck. Really didn't change too much. I think this is pretty standard, especially if you are playing the barrier package. If not, you can just swap that out for, you know, any other Synchro 8 water like Dragite or something, which works. And then onto our side real quick, so you guys can check that out. This is what I was siding. We did side a call by. We sided 3 Lancia. Here, let me get the deck out of the way so you can see the shinies, the shiny cards. We did play these 4 in the side, along with 3 cross out and 1 Droll. Mainly because like I didn't want to lose to Droll, and I was okay with getting hit with anything except Droll, right? So like I can rip the nib out, and that's kind of the main threat with Minstrel. So I wasn't really worried about that. I just needed to get to the Minstrel combo. So Droll's the only thing that stopped it, and I didn't see the cross out, and I didn't get Drolled today. So I don't know. It felt weird. If my opponent was on Droll, I probably would have made more use of it. But yeah, just never came up. And then the 2 Meows to cover the banish, especially from Grave and banish like the Mal stuff. So there's that. And then 3 Metal Tronus. This actually paired with Droplet, again, in theory, insanely well. Because Droplet never came up because, I wasn't, I had 1 dice rolls, right? So like there wasn't any reason to side it in. Game 3. Game 2, sided Droplet in a ton, but didn't see it. That's the downside of a 44 card deck. But in theory, again, if you see both of these going second and the opponent has their Dweller out, but let's say it's just Dweller, or even if it's not just Dweller, if they have Dweller plus Detonator, right, and you have these 2, the sequencing that you should be doing is going like draw phase, Metal Tronus, right? Priority. You're going draw phase, Metal Tronus, target the Abyss Dweller. And then I believe that's just target for cause. No, it's all 1 effect, right? So it's all 1 effect. So you're targeting the Dweller, and then they go chain link to Detonator, target Dweller to pop. And then if you don't have response, they can still go chain link between 3 Dweller to still resolve it. But then if you have Droplet, then you go chain link 3 Droplet, send your Tronus and any monster from hand, and you can negate essentially both of their effects if you want. Well, you have to negate exactly 2, right? So if you send 2, you have to negate 2, but it doesn't really matter at that point. Because if you send a monster, you can't respond with Dweller anyways. So anyways, Metal Tronus will resolve, getting rid of the Dweller. And since you don't really need the Dweller in that instance, it's my own Dweller, you just special your own Dweller out, and because they have the same name, you banish both face down. So you don't have to worry about Dweller the rest of the turn. And that's like a 2 to 3 card little combo, especially when you're playing the drawing cards. It's not that hard to get into. I did see Metal Tronus a bunch, and it did come up once, I think. Nobody made the High Wave King against me, but if they did, I had Metal Tronus. I was prepared. This did help against Dweller, like the one time I had it, but when I had it, it was win more. Like I was already winning when I had it. Not saying this is a win more card. I'm just saying there was a lot of really weird instances at this regional where, like, I think my deck list choice was fine and it was good. However, the matchups were just off, if that makes sense. So, yeah, my 3 losses were against a good Raziel Fiendsmith player, but I bricked game 2. It was really bad. Like I said, got to cut the bricks. I just, like, for 5 turns, literally 5 turns, I wasn't able to draw on any of the 2-card starters. Like, I drew Dragoons and just everything. It was bad. And then the other 2 losses were against a Malice player who, I don't think he used Shifter, if I remember correctly, but his, like, game 3 hand was insane, like, God hand. I'm talking, he had Call By, Cross Out, Dormouse, Thrust, and, like, I think the Field Spell. So he was really just an insane hand. There was no way I was winning. I even had Fulos Ash, and that didn't do anything, right? So, yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. And then the final, like when I was X2, I played against a Flu player. So you can guess how that went, right? Flu, just freaking rogue deck, playing Shifter. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that, honestly. There really wasn't. I tried. I decided to do the best I could, and he drew Shifter both games. Right, he shifted me both games. So there's only so much I can do. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Really. Let me know what you guys think. I know it's a little bit long, but I'm going to be testing out and pivoting a little bit to a different water deck. Actually, Ice Barrier, the one I got 17th with. So if you guys are still here and paying attention, check out my Ice Barrier deck list that I'll be posting soon. I think it has a little bit more potential than this as far as versatility goes, especially when you run into those things where you get hit by Shifter. Those bad cards, those variance cards that you run into that kill this deck, right? Like, if you don't see the right cards and you're playing into Droll, you're playing into Shifter, and it kills your deck, like that can ruin your whole tournament, right? So, Ice Barrier I'm going to test out by, playing at locals the next few weeks. I'll post some match recordings as well, but I think that Ice Barrier has got some potential to it. I really do. Pending, there's going to be a ban list, so I mean, I don't know when, but we'll see how Ice Barrier does. So, yeah, thanks again, guys, for tuning in. And comment if you want to see me post something else. But I appreciate the love, and edgy out.